Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag JD49. What's up, 49ers faithful? We are here on a Sunday, game day, here with Johnny Dell. I am Adam Marino, of course, and I will let Johnny explain why we are doing what we're doing right now and why Johnny's scenery looks the way it does.
Yes, so I do sound a little bit different. I'm using a different mic than I normally use. I am on the Alabama Gold Coast right now. I'm on a patio on the 12th floor overlooking the white sand beaches of the Gulf of Mexico in Alabama right now. My wife and I and the family were on vacation, so which is why we're going on a Sunday morning. Normally, I am not available on Sunday morning, so um, we are here. We're on vacation. We're having a good time, but we want to check in with the faithful. And there was something I just had to walk the faithful through on some film, and that I couldn't let wait till next week. I had to let it get it out this morning. But we are here. What you see, the bright spot to my left, your right, probably is the beach area there. It's just bright and sunny here. So that is where I am.
Love to see it. Glad you're able to take a refresh. Speaking of refresh, I think the 49ers are looking to refresh and get back in the W column. And we're going to go through that a little bit. Do you want to go through some of your film stuff first? Do you want to get into Patriots? What would you like to do first?
Yeah, let's talk about some Patriots 49ers matchup first. In agency, yes, I am in Orange Beach. I am on Perdido Boulevard right now. If you want to know, I'm right across from Ruby Slipper, which is a fantastic little brunch spot. They have one in Destin. They have one, I believe, in New Orleans. If you're ever in any of those areas, look up the Ruby Slipper. I sent Adam some pictures of the food the other day. It was
Unreal.
phenomenal.
Yeah. Looks amazing. So I have the the team stats pulled up real quick for the Patriots. I wanted to get into that real quick first. They rank 32nd in the league in total yards at 274.3 yards per game. They rank 32nd in the league in passing yards at 102 passing yards. What is this? The University of Michigan? Um, if you know, you know. Michigan
This is
football.
the New England Tennessee Volunteers Twitter.
Rushing yards now they do pick it up a bit. They are eighth in the league, which is pretty good. 144 yards. They are 31st in the league. So there is a team worse than them. At points scored is 13. They're not good in third down. And then so let's talk about that first. So that's their offense. So let's now respond with our defense. What are some things that you see on on the defensive end for us, knowing those offensive stats?
Well, one, they are terrible on offense. Now, some of that is that they faced a couple really good defenses. They faced uh the Jets and saw this defense, and we know, from what we prepared for them against is that we were expecting the 49ers to have a much tougher time scoring against New York's defense. And I think coming out of that game, a lot of people thought that maybe the New York Jets were not going to be nearly what everybody thought they were, but it really does turn out that they are a very good defense, just as much as we thought they were. And then they also ended up facing off against the Seahawks with Mike McDonald's defense. So those two parts have to be considered in why their numbers are so low. The other side is that they are just also not good. So if there was a game for the 49ers to show that they can be a strong defensive team again, then this is that game. You need to perform to the same level that the New York Jets did against them and that Mike McDonald and the Seahawks did against them. You can't have a game come out where you give up points and yards and first downs against this team. And if you're going to show that you are a team that is committed to stopping the run and you're capable of stopping the run, this is that game. This is a team that they do not have offensive weapons. They don't have receivers. Now, we also said that going into the Rams game, and they let Matthew Stafford throw for a bunch of yards on them, and they gave up some really big plays. They gave up a 50-yard pass interference play. I think we ran a lot of man coverage for two reasons in that game. We ran it far more than we should have, but I think two things that added to that was one, you didn't have Puka Nacua, you didn't have Cooper Kupp, and so if you are Nick Sorensen, you're thinking I should match up really well man on man because they're depleted. Their best guy is Tutu Atwell, and he's just mainly a straight line speed guy. Well, you didn't match up really well. The other thing was that the Rams understood how to get us into man coverage by looking at that in base downs, in base defense, that we are playing much more man than we are in our nickel. We play a lot of more varied zones in our nickel package than we do in our base package. So the Rams, who have almost been exclusively an 11 personnel team, decided to come out in 12 personnel nearly the entire game, which put our base defense on the field, and that leads to higher rates of man coverage. So if this was a game where you could say, well, maybe that won't be as much of a trap for us. This is that game, but you've got to show that you could stop the run. You really have to show you can stop the run and against this team because this is what they're going to do. That's their only chance in this game. If they can run the ball, they have a chance. If they can't run the ball, this game is over. Lock it up. You move on. You get everybody healthy. So if there was a game where the 49ers can come out and say, we will show that we could be a good defense this year, we're going to stop this team that they know we want to run the ball. We know they want to run the ball. Everybody within 2,000 miles knows that they want to run the ball. Then that is the test for this defense.
And so Ramondre Stevenson is their go-to back. He is averaging 4.3 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns on the year with an average of 75 yards per game, 224 yards rushing off of 52 attempts. And yeah, I would think if you're New England, you would just want to ram the ball down our throats, knowing that that's your strength, knowing that we're kind of on the ropes. This is your chance. If I'm Gerard Mayo, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. A remember Jermichael Hasty is on the roster. We were Niner fans remember him. He, wasn't a guy that we ever thought would be much of anything, but I was looking through the roster and noticed that he was on there. To be honest, I didn't know he was there. So
He was a third down back for us. So he was supposed to be a receiving back. The problem was Hasty was never a good receiver. And then obviously when you brought in Christian McCaffrey, he became superfluous. Christian McCaffrey is the ultimate third down running back who also is a phenomenal first and second down back. So
yeah.
yeah, Hasty, if we let Hasty go off, we got some issues.
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely he has 2 carries for 7 yards on the year, so I don't expect him to do much. Speaking of not doing much, looking at the receivers, their top receiver is actually a tight end, Hunter Henry, who is a name in the NFL. You should know who that is, but he only has 12 catches on the year for 136 yards. Demario Douglas and Jalen Polk are the receivers, and they there is nothing about them that wows you whatsoever. And so, yeah, our defense should be able to make some plays that where you're like, okay, it looks like we're back. Like I'm going to say between 3 and 5 plays that we see in today's game where we say, like, ooh, like we clutch our fist and say, and pump our fist and say, yes, that is what we're looking for. Whether it's a sack by Bosa where he just looks clean off the edge, or where, um, a linebacker doesn't even have to be Fred Warner, because we know Fred Warner is actually having, crazy to say, like one of the best starts to a season, like in his career, and he's a stud, obviously. So I'm counting on him already, but like another linebacker to just tip a ball that you're like, how did he get that? Like, yes, that's Niner defense. I'm looking for a lot of those plays because we talked about the offense. Let's jump to the other side of the ball. Um, when you look at the matchup of Brock Purdy against Gerard Mayo and um that defense, you look at defensively what the Patriots do. They are 18th in the league in giving up yards, so they give up 340 yards. They give up, here's what I like. They give up 244 yards passing, which is 27th in the league. We know Brock Purdy is barely second in the league in passing to Bozo Dak. Rushing yards, they give up 83, and they give up 19 points a game. They're not good on third down at all. They're 29th in the league, and that's huge because third downs, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Do we give it to Mason? Do we throw it? Do we throw it for 30 yards? That's some of the stuff that like frustrates me. Is it's 3rd and 3 and we throw a 30-yard pass. In the times that it gets completed, wow, yes, pump your fist. Yes, okay. But in the times that it doesn't work, you're just left scratching your head. So I'm looking for us to be better on third down. What else are you looking for in our offense versus their defense?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's going to come down to third down. And so, Shanahan always talks about
Wait,
this
wait,
every
wait.
every
So
game.
I know what I'm talking about here. What's going on here? Can we just
Even
highlight that?
even even a blind squirrel finds an editor.
Well, okay, yeah, yeah. A broken
So,
clock is right
um,
twice a day.
twice a day.
There you
So,
go.
in that, he, whenever we talk about games where the 49ers struggle offensively, like say the Minnesota Vikings game, for example, what is Shanahan's first uh, remarks coming out? He said, "Well, because we weren't good on third down. When you aren't good on third down, it makes it really hard." Okay, he wants to run the ball a lot on first downs. He wants to be 50-50, but if you have to have several cracks at first down to get the big plays. We tend to get our explosives on first down. That's where we tend to get our explosives, and those have to be set up with the right circumstances. And what are those circumstances? You have to be able to convert. You just have to be able to get the opposing team in first down in the times you want, so you can harvest the data. Then you can get into your game plan of you have 8 possible answers that lead to explosives, but you have to harvest that data and you have to set them up on that first down. But to do that, then you have to have multiple first downs that you can crack on. So it's really easy if you're not. It's really simple, I should say, not easy. If you're not converting on third down, you don't have those cracks. You don't have as many explosives. We are an offense that sets up our explosives, and we lean on people in the right game. You can't do that if you are not converting third down. So, a team that is very poor in third down, then you need to really lean into that and get them on that, get them on the ropes with that. Now, New England, I always hesitate in saying that New England is a team that is ripe to be scored on because they have traditionally always been so sound. Now, one of the issues that they tend to have is that when they don't have good player matchups, that's when they really can struggle and look like a really bad defense. They play a lot of man coverage. And what they tend to do in their man coverage, they are very good at understanding the details of that coverage. It sounds like everybody thinks, man coverage is man coverage. I got this guy, you got that guy. Well, they do a lot of helping zones that are not just we're going to stick a guy in the middle. He's going to eye the quarterback and follow the quarterback's eyes. They don't play it like that. They play a lot of it in being very specific to releases, being very specific to numberings, and play leverage within that. And their guys tend to understand leverage very well. They don't get picked easily. They understand depth staggering in in when you go into bunches and things. They understand how to have checks in and out of that. They've been playing this for a very long time. Belichick was playing this for a very long time. Gerard Mayo has carried over what Belichick was doing. So this is a game you can't go into and just say, well, we have Brandon Knight and we have Debo Samuel most likely will be back in this game, and George Kittle will be back. And these are all mismatches. And Juwan Jennings, that these are mismatches. They don't have people who can cover this. Well, they're going to be able to provide some sort of helping zones in that, play leverage with that. So you have to be on it of where am I going? What are they doing? Brock Purdy's got to be understand it. Kyle Shanahan's got to understand it. The receivers have to understand it, how to set each other up on these things. You can't have guys going out there saying, well, I'm going to be able to win on my route. No, you have a pick route. You have to be detailed on your landmarks, get through it, create that pick. You can't just say, this is Juwan Jennings. He's gonna win on his. I can try and win on my route, and I might. And Brock Purdy may be able to find me for a big game. You can't do that. You still got to be on your details.
Yeah, that's the things that we're looking for, especially when we're on a bit of a skid like we are. It's like that classic, just, hey, you got to get back to the basics and do your job, right? And so against the Patriots, if you do your job, we feel like it should be a multi-score victory. Um, what other keys do you see? And then let's get into some of your film.
Just other keys are just going to be play sound football. I mean, you play sound football and what you do and stick with your identity. And this game, this should be an easy one. This should be a very. I'm on vacation. I want a relaxing day of the 49ers, whooping everybody. So don't make it close. You know, let
Right,
it let
they're
it
at
be a
home. It's a
calm
home
day for the
game.
faithful.
Yeah, like, come on, just get it done. Have some fun. Get back to playing the way that the team has done over and over and over again. Give the home crowd something to cheer from the very beginning. Make a great play in special teams to start the game. Either if we get the ball, get a good run back, or if we kick off, hit him inside the 15-yard line, make them start back there, or make a play on the first drive. Like, give the crowd something to cheer for, and don't let them stop cheering, because the faithful can definitely keep you going. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. It's a home game. Okay, so I'm very anxious to see what what you've gone over. What do you have?
Sorry, I'm laughing, but I'm on my here. There's some kids yelling on the other patio next to me, so hopefully we can't hear them.
Yeah, no, I
Totally
don't.
fine.
I don't
Free
hear
country,
anything.
free country. Everybody's here. Um, but this is where I was excited because I'm gonna be able to get into some details of things that I don't normally get into. Like people always want it seem like they always want that itch scratched about going a little bit deeper, a little bit more details, a little bit more. We're gonna go to a really to the ins and outs. I sent a message to John Chapman about this play, and he kind of chuckled at me. He understood what I was saying, but I told him I was like, dude, I don't get to geek out on football to this level with many people. So we're gonna go over this and see exactly what happened. So people always talk about Kyle Shanahan understands zone defenses and defenses as well or better than just about any other play call, right? Like have you've heard that, right, Adam?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna walk through that and what
Okay.
exactly that means. So this starts out with design. So the Rams play a lot of Nick Saban inspired and based concepts, defensive concepts. And there's a lot of Saban influence in what they do. So first thing we're going to notice, okay, they got split safeties here. So they are aligned just outside the inside receiver. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
You're going to be my sounding board. I got to follow everybody along. So you're my test watcher. So I'm gonna ask you a lot of you still with me and so we'll make
Yep.
sure there's no questions. Okay.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
so this is that's revealing that they are in now and also understand they're where they are in the field. So they're uh in between the 30s. So that's an area that they charted defenses. So that means that the Rams are going to be looking to not give up a big explosive play down the field. So they're going to be playing their kind of base coverages as far as what they do to keep you from being able to go really deep. That's what a lot of teams, once teams get inside the 30, you start seeing some different coverages that soften up on the back end because there's not so much space. So you're in between the 30s. And now what we're going to do, okay, we're on the boundary side of the hash. We have two receivers and we have Jordan Mason split out. So it's an empty set. Okay, what that means is that the Rams, and they're checking to this right now. You see these guys communicating. Okay, they're checking. Everybody's communicating. Everybody's communicating. See the Rams doing what they're doing is that they're checking in their defense to what's called a Cora call. It is a CORA. That's what Nick Saban calls it, Cora. And what does that mean? That means that their cover four is transitioning from a four deep, where you'd have deep quarter, deep quarter, deep quarter, deep quarter. Now what they're doing is that this side is going to be a two deep zone. So that's the Cora call. That what this corner would normally do is he would normally be in man coverage on IU. The corner on the other side would normally be in man coverage on Ronnie Bell. Now they've got a Cora call. So these guys are going to go quarters zones. They're not going to have man and then a quarters. And these guys are going to go. What he's got to do is play this as man up to about this depth. And then he's going to wall off inside and play a cloud zone. That's what the Cora call does. And he's going to play a half zone. Okay. So you follow me with that app?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
With
So
you.
we have a check from the Rams. So Shanahan has set up that check. He's seen what goes into creating that check. Okay.
So he's seen
So
this previously, you're saying?
he's seen this on film. This is a team that has run this for a while. This goes back to Brandon Staley. So he's determining what kind of coverage inside their coverage they're playing. So this core call is a check inside of Nick Saban's cover seven. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So his cover seven is a matching quarters, and inside cover seven is the core call, which puts a half uh, cloud corner with a deep half safety. So it's a cover two check. That the C words are for cloud coverages. The S words inside cover seven are for cover seven checks, like stubby and stuff and stout. Those are different checks inside Saban's system. So
So
from
you're
there,
saying so you're saying then that when Shanahan gets to that empty set, that he knows ahead of time that that's gonna make LA go
he
into
knows
the
what
Cora?
he's charting what causes certain triggers.
Okay.
So he's charting that they're in this coverage. So we often think of that coverages are just, cover four, cover two, cover six, that's what it is. There are, but then there's sub checks within that. Like I said, Nick Saban has cover seven, which is a matching cover four. And then inside that cover four, he has different checks that cause different rules. So you have different ways of playing the same coverage. And so, and that's what's happening here is that you have a cloud or cover, basically a cover six is what I'm trying to say. So which is cover two plus cover four. So you have cover two and cover on one side, cover four on the other. The C words again are for cloud, which is corner in the flat. It's a C word for corner in the flat. Um, and so setting this up to what that means. So IU is going to run an outside release. That's the details here. Outside release. Why? Because this corner is going to look to widen and then settle underneath. And then this safety has to go pick that up on the outside. Okay. This is all set up to widen the safety. And then with Jordan Mason, you're going to see a little loop and he's going to return. And again, what is that doing? That is grabbing then the hook player who is responsible for any inbreaker from the number two. Why? Because the number one has released outside. The corner has to redirect, gain depth underneath, and settle underneath. Let me go with this in blue so we can separate, what colors are what. So he's going to redirect, settle underneath. and the safety has to go pick up the number 1 on an outside. That is all to get these guys to move away from the middle of the field. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes care of the 3 cover side. So now on the other side where you have 4, where you have the 4 on 3. Here we have Bell also aligned inside. And this is also the genius of it too, because you have all of your tosses, all of your screens, everything from these formations as well. So Ronnie Bell isn't going to take an outside release like Brandon. He's going to run down the inside, just inside the hashes. Okay, why? Let me put it in red here so we can differentiate what team is what. He's going to run inside. Why? Because now he's going to trigger to gather both, threaten both the inside safety and the outside corner. Both of these guys have got to have eyes on him. So that's what they're doing here. You've got Ronnie Bell coming down the middle, and he's going to grab attention from both the quarter safety and the quarter's corner. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
I don't know
what are
why
we
they're
going to
concerned
do?
with him. He can't catch it anyway.
Yeah, but it's because of what their coverage rules dictate. So this is again understanding what their coverage rules are. That he's going to run right down, split their assignment so that both of them are threatened. Because if he's running down there, the inside quarter's safety has to be alert to a post. The outside corner has to be alert to a corner run, right? So they both are threatened. That's why he's releasing where it is. And this also speaks to why Ronnie Bell was out there instead of like Jacob Cowan. Understand the details of what you're trying to do against a specific coverage if you get that look. If you don't get that look, then this route might change on the details. Okay. So from there, we're then going to take Saubert and we're going to run him some red. We're going to run Saubert to the flat. Okay. So now you've grabbed the flat defender on that side. He's got to match any outbreaker that's heading this way. If number 2, which is Juwan Jennings, does not go to the flat, he's got to pick up number 3 if he goes to the flat. Then on top of that, we're going to then bring Juwan Jennings vertical. And so the Mike, he has to redirect, settle underneath, and then eyes to the number, what is the new number 2, which is Saubert, for a possible return route. Okay. And he's going to pass off, because he's going to pass off any vertical from the number 2. Juwan Jennings is the number 2 here. He's going to pass off any vertical to the number 2 to the deep quarters safety. So he's got to pass that off. Okay. So now do you see what this is caught, where a hole is starting to create in the defense?
Yeah, in the middle.
That you're going to have a middle hole right here. All because of what you set up with alignment, understanding their checks, understanding what you were doing in design, and Juwan Jennings is going to run a basic route right into here. Have we caught that? Is this
Yeah.
like the David Copperfield moment where you start to see,
The curtain.
what this absolutely means? Okay, so now let's play this at half speed. You're going to see everything that plays into this. So you see the Rams have checked their defense. There we go. Okay, we got a redirect on for Juwan Jennings. You could see eyes inside, eyes here. Out here, you have Tre'Davious White is redirecting Ayuk. Safety's eyes are that way. We got eyes towards Jordan Mason. Okay, we're looking good here. And again, look, where's the linebacker? Eyes towards Jordan Mason. Safety's flying out. We have Ronnie Bell is coming in, and then he's going to stem right down the field. So you grab the quarters corner. You have the curl player is taking this. And again, where's the mic? Let me get some blue. He's redirected Jennings and then eyes towards Saubert. He's playing his rules. And then he's going to settle and he's going to work this way a little bit. And now you have the deep quarters corner has to gain depth because of these Bell's route and Juwan Jennings' route threatening him. You've cleared out over here, cleared out over here. Brock Purdy's going to see it and drop a ball right in here into a great window. And you get a beautiful 12 to 14 yard gain.
Man. Okay,
That is
rewind, do it again. Yeah. Okay, now let's see it.
okay. So you see it in real time. Okay, here you see clouds settling underneath Ayuk. He's got eyes to Mason. Safety's taking over the top. Safety's had to back up because he's being threatened by two receivers, by Bell and by Javon Jennings. The cook, the mic has to shade in case of a return. And so a beautiful throw by Brock Purdy. This is why Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan are such a great fit together. Because Brock Purdy can execute what Shanahan draws up at such a high level. So we're going to watch this from the end zone.
Yeah.
And we're going to watch Purdy stripe. So the stripe on top of his helmet. This is exactly what you want. That stripe right down the middle of the field. That is what they coach. He's holding it and then hitch, ball out into a great location. And so it's a play that looks so routine, but you're able to see to what degree the details come into play here.
Man, that really does show a multitude of
And my
things
wife,
going
he's in
on.
the chat. She's saying, "Take note. He loves y'all because she's out by the pool with the kiddos
Yep.
downstairs." I'm about to hop off here in just a
Yes.
couple minutes and go join her.
Love that. Yes, we appreciate you. Again, Johnny is on vacation and taking some time on game day to go over some things. I want to go over a couple things with you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. This is the exact reason. Today's the exact reason why you have to hit the notification bell, because we typically like to go live on YouTube and X and Facebook, all that stuff, whatever. We go live typically Mondays and Fridays because of not only the hurricane but the vacation situation with Johnny and his family. As he's showing you down exactly where he's at, is this is why you need to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we kind of change things up. So be sure to share with other Niner faithful. If you see people wearing Niner gear, just hold your phone up and be like, hey, let me show you something. Pull up YouTube, show them the channel, show them the videos that Johnny does. This last 10 minutes was a perfect example of the knowledge that you get from this channel. And the other way to support is also by supporting the website. So if you have not been to the website, be sure to check it out, jfa49.com. Lots of more intricate details like what Johnny just went over. This was like a free little, sample of what the channel is all about. We love talking about the whys and hows. And there it is in the chat, jfa49.com. Be sure to check it out if you have not already. Big shout out to the members already with us on the website. Okay, so are we
Yeah.
ready for?
And just kind of piggybacking off of that.
Yeah,
And this isn't to toot my own horn on this, is that this is one of the reasons I wanted to go into this because I see so many different guys that come from very established backgrounds, and I'm not disparaging any. I'm not, uh, trying to speak higher of myself or anything. So many different guys will take and watch Shanahan's lens through or Shanahan's offense through their lens, and the lens of either what offense they learned or what they prefer to run, or how they were taught to play quarterback. Shanahan is different in that there's such a deep understanding of opposing defenses, and that's why I wanted to get into this because that play might be dissected by somebody else and say, well, why are they running this? I would prefer this route, or I would prefer this because that gives you an answer if they come with that, or that gives you an answer if they come with this, and that doesn't make as much sense. You should do, I see that kind of stuff, and I go, yeah, but if we stop and look at it through the lens of the play designer, not the play executor, and I say, I know the ins and outs of that specific check in that specific defense. And I trust my analytics and the way that I've gone through, and I've done this so many times that I know I can get him in the right call. And I've done my data harvesting that I can get him in the right call. So this play is designed to beat that defense because I know then if I do that, then I'm going to be able to get the the defensive play caller. He's not going to want to run that again in that situation because now he's going to say that I got beat as a play caller. And so I'm going to call a different play. And so now, and you know where he goes from there. And so that's when you start setting somebody up and you can keep doing that. And that's why, did you lose me on my mic?
No, you're good.
Okay. Because I lost myself in hearing myself all of a sudden.
Uh,
And it was really weird. Um,
you've gone
but
senile. No.
yeah, I have gone senile. But I just wanted to get into, from a play designers and looking at it because like one thing I did a lot more this off season than I did last season was really diving into the more expansive defensive concepts than I had done the year before. More stuff that the 49ers weren't running. And when I was looking at different stuff that guys are running around the league and trying to get a better understanding of that. And we start looking at trying to reverse engineer why is Shanahan doing this? And why are the details the way they are? Because and that's I guess where some of my frustration comes in is that people look at it and say, well, we know he's a really smart guy and we know that he's a really good play designer, but I don't like all these different details about things because they seem off. Well, because you're not looking at it through the lens of his preparation. And so I try and say, okay, I know that Shanahan is a pretty smart guy. And I know that he
Right.
understands that everybody who's worked with him said he understands opposing defense better than anybody they've worked with. And so I go, let's take it from that perspective. So then I look at a play like that and I go, okay, I recognize that defensive call. What he do to that defensive call? Because I know the rules of that defensive call. So now I can reverse engineer it and so that's why I wanted to dive into something like this because it gets into that kind of next level of looking at let's just not say that this has these details don't make sense. Actually, these details make a lot of sense, but you have to understand exactly what he's trying to do.
Right, right. And again, this is the stuff that Johnny loves doing, and why now, just a few years later, there's we're up to almost 23 and a half thousand subscribers. We just got to 23,000 not that long ago, and now looking for the big push for not only 24, not only 25,000, but 30,000. So make sure you share with as many people as you can that you see are Niner fans. The more the merrier. There's more than 23,400 Niner fans, so not everyone is aware yet. So do your part. I'm doing my part. I tell as many people as I can. So and Hugo, I want to point out, made a comment that 1 day sin contract, you know, paid Johnny so well that he's able to afford a nice little vacay. So shout out to Sports Idiot Nation. You see my stuff in the background. Remember, new episodes are every Thursday and Monday. So Sports Idiot Nation, we'll have a lot to talk about. There were some comments earlier about the Bama Georgia game. We will talk about that on Sports Idiot Nation. So stay tuned. All right, let's get picks to click. Offense and defense. Give me one guy that you like to shine and score prediction. Put them in the chat. Johnny, you start, and I'll go with mine then after you.
Defense, Nick Bosa needs to have a game. I mean, he really does. And in that, what I mean is that everybody else needs to start pulling their water, carrying their water, and let Bosa have those opportunities. One thing that we saw with Bosa when he started to produce more last season was when they went out and got Randy Gregory, and then they got uh, uh, Chase Young. Is that they finally had a credible threat on the other side. Leonard Floyd, I wanted him this offseason. He's got to start carrying his water.
Yeah.
Um, and producing so that we can see Nick Bosa go have a game. So this is a game to do that. Go have a game. Score prediction after last week, man. I don't want to, but I'm gonna say 27-13 49ers.
Okay. Um, and what about on did you say on offense?
No, on offense, I think Jordan Mason and Juwan Jennings again. I think that's where it comes in. Hopefully, Brandon Ayuk has a game. Maybe he's got a fire lit underneath him after the red shorts incident. So, uh, we're not going to talk about that. That was so ridiculous, and
That
it's
was
become way too much of a thing. But I would think so, but I think what one or two things either Brandon A or Juwan Jennings going to have a really good game. It's not going to be both because, and that just comes down to Gerard Mayo is going to do what Bill Belichick did, which is I'm going to take away your number one threat. So who does he view as the 49ers' number one threat? Does he find it easier to take away Juwan Jennings or easier to take away Brandon Ayuk? And whoever's
Right.
easier, he will double the other guy. So that's what we'll see.
And it might be Jennings at this point. I mean, good Lord. You look at Juwan Jennings' stats in comparison to the rest of the league, you would think he's a number one receiver based on touchdowns, yardage, all. And I know a chunk was against the Rams, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just I know, and it's early as well. But okay, so again, as Don says, yes, if you want to leave a super chat right now, or feel free to donate to the kiddos. It is hot 95 out there. We're dropping predictions. I'm gonna go Lenore and Mason, and I'm going to say Niners 27-10. So you guys keep dropping your because we need bragging rights. So I'm looking for some of the usual suspects if you're still with us, like Glass City, Dr. Steve, Hugo. Drop your predictions as we roll out of here because we got to get Johnny back to his family. But we definitely think it's a two-score game. So again, be sure to like and subscribe so that and hit the notification bell so that when new content drops. Don't bother me. That is an interesting screen name. Says Niners 28-17. I'll not bother you anymore on this. I'll just say Niners 28-17. That's not bad. Two-score game there. So yes, we're looking for a two-score game. We will check in with you now. Johnny, when are you back?
So we'll check in with you Tuesday morning.
Okay.
We're coming back. We're going to be driving back Monday. So yep.
Okay. So there you heard it here first. We will check in with you guys Tuesday. Man, excited for the game. We don't get a chance to talk a lot on literal game day. So love it. Go have fun. Stay cool out there in the 95. Right now I am checking my local weather. It is a whopping 69 degrees with a high of 76. So I'm feeling good. Gonna be fun. Quiffle ball. What up? 36-10. Salbert with 3 catches and a TD. Stu Never says a one-score game. Come on, 30-24. At least we're dropping 30. But all right, so we'll have to check in on Tuesday and see how we do. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and for today especially, go Niners.